So I just want to make the whole board aware, in our board committees, that question came up there. And then we were in the Equity Advisory Council meeting with President Peterson, same question came up, right? And President Peterson was saying it won't go away. And I said, well, I think the whole board probably needs to talk about that. And I'm raising it now because I think all of our board committees are questioning this. And I don't know if we can give them assurance that the Equity Advisory Council will not go away if changes happen to the equity policy. Are we able to provide them that assurance? Because I think we have to decide as a board.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, there's an intent. There was some questions around, okay, there was in the November 30th meeting, we heard this, we want to get some clarification. And I think the direct question that I tried to answer, because it was the very first meeting, they have not even elected officers yet. It was just, hey, congratulations, you've been selected for the committee. Everybody just introduced themselves. The question I was attempting to answer was, is this our first and last meeting? and I wanted to say, no, this is not going away. You will continue to meet until such time. And again, we don't know as a board where we're going to wind up. But I was trying to answer no, this is not just the first and last meeting. You're not spinning your wheels here. This committee will continue. And I guess to clarify, it would be until such time that a board takes an action that affects the committee. So again, that is to be determined.
So we're not able to, as a board, say, no, this committee is not going away, regardless of the equity policy.
I think that really determines what is done to the policy, because the policy, as you know, without getting way off subject here, is actually what stands up and charters that board is ADB. So again, I think it depends on what ultimate changes. And again, that's a board yes. discussion and a board decision.
So I appreciate you clarifying that, because I don't think that was at all what people heard. And so I think being able to talk through this is really helpful to give clarity to that. And then my last...
For me?
I guess I can't help but bring up the diversity and equity topic, just because it has been a topic in pretty much every committee meeting that I've been to. And is there anything more that you'd like to speak to from the student perspective on that subcommittee? I'm not sure what our timing is as a board, as we are going to discuss the educational equity policy. And for me, understanding student voice is extremely important before contemplating any kind of changes in that policy. So I'd just like us to talk about that, as well as hearing from the students.
Yeah, and one thing before you answer, it is important to note that the Student Advisory Group does have representatives on the just newly stood up Equity Advisory Council. So there is a direct conduit to make sure that SAG voices are heard in that larger discussion, but please
yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that we pushed for, getting a new student on that, which we were very happy about. In terms of our specific subgroup and different things that we've seen in it, we have seen that a lot of students feel that there are certain situations in schools where people are not treated equitably or are not treated fairly because of different things such as sexual orientation or race or other different things that could influence how people interact with them. And then a lot of the time it's not something that's actively taken, something that is direct or done to direct harm at somebody. Oftentimes it can be something like not using the correct pronouns for a student after they have decided to change that for themselves. So one of the big things that we're trying to target with our specific guidance and our training program would be to have students and counselors lead informational sessions for teachers to help them be more informed about the issues that students are facing. And in terms of wider policy, our group does think that it is extremely important that we retain strong diversity and equity framework, because we see that it is so important to students being able to express themselves individually and feel comfortable in an academic setting.
And was SAG involved in the development of the educational equity policy in regards to looking at the drafts and providing input?
I believe that the Student Advisory Group worked on that last year. As we went through, at the very beginning of last year, we had people come in and go over the policy. So I do think that we were involved in that process. Although the people that were on it last year and this year may differ, there are some that were currently present that did help draft that.
Okay, thank you to our